What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, Monica McNutt out here doing the Lord's work. Yes, indeed. Y'all recall when Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp decided that they were going to be fanboy number one and fanboy number 1A for Caitlin Clark, and they went on a campaign for quite some time talking about how all of the WNBA players were jealous of Caitlin Clark, um, how the Caitlin Clark was box office and all this other stuff. Y'all know how Stephen A. Snitch talks. He went on this whole campaign, jock strap sniffing Caitlin Clark, and Monica McNutt had to come onto the show. Now, I'm not saying she just came onto the show for this particular purpose, but I'm sure she was invited on the show, and she checked Stephen A. Smith. You know what I mean? And it was a shock to me personally because I wasn't expecting it. This was a day where I just turned on ESPN just to turn it on, just kind of chill, have it on as white noise. And lo and behold, I looked up and Monica McNutt was putting Stephen A. Smith in his place. And rightfully so, because Stephen A. Smith is a habitual front runner. And I always have recently, I began calling him the LeBron James of sports analysts. This dude has no problem with embarrassing himself in pursuit of trying to elevate himself. But if you didn't see that viral clip, that's on my page as well, somewhere in the archives, where Monica McNutt checked Stephen A. Smith. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to update the portfolio because Stephen A. Smith has been exposed again by Monica McNutt. And this time, it wasn't a viral clip of them going back and forth. I'm not sure if she was doing an interview or if she just, was making comments towards something. But basically, she called Stephen A. Smith out on his alleged jealousy. As if you weren't aware, Stephen A. Smith has been in a long time coming now, contract negotiation with ESPN. And ESPN, have since these negotiations have begun, have bought Pat McAfee to the ESPN network. They have paid Troy Aikman what one would deem as a max contract for his coverage and his services on Monday Night Football. The same for Joe Buck. There's been a number of characters that have gotten the bag per se at ESPN, which prompted Stephen A. Smith to let's say it like this: he is uh, continuing the contract negotiations himself because there was an offer out there, I believe, for like $18 million a year that he would have been getting. Well, what Stephen A. Smith wants is the most money at ESPN for being an ESPN analyst. And ESPN is saying, nah, brother, you know what I mean? They're not so sure about that. I believe that Stephen A. Smith is gunning for $25 million a year, which I believe would, of course, put him at the highest paid member of the media crew. And Monica McNutt, to her credit, she brought up these negotiations and said that the fact of the matter that Stephen A. Smith is pursuing this particular bag so badly, because of these other brothers, these other gentlemen getting their bag, she said it sounds like jealousy to her that Stephen A. Smith is so adamant about getting this money. Because he's jealous that Pat McAfee is getting the bag and that Troy Aikman is getting the bag. Let me say this, though. I think that has some merit. I do. I believe that Stephen A. Smith, once Pat McAfee came along, and all these others, and even Shannon Sharp to an extent, I believe Stephen A. Smith is jealous of Shannon Sharp to an extent because these guys are self-sustainable brands. They don't need ESPN. You know, the reason why Pat McAfee is getting paid what he's getting paid and Shannon Sharp was brought along is because with or without ESPN, these gentlemen will be successful. Stephen A. Smith can't say the same. And if you need a sample of what I'm talking about, Stephen A. Smith YouTube, all right, he's supposed to be the top dog at ESPN, right? His YouTube platform is severely underperforming compared to Club Shay Shay and Pat McAfee's platforms. You know what I mean? Like severely underperforming. I know dudes within my network that I talk to on a daily basis that's doing better numbers than Stephen A. Smith. And there's no knock on him. It's just very ironic. It's a full circle moment that he was running around here calling everybody jealous because of Caitlin Clark when there's merit of his jealousy right here in front of us. And I can't believe I didn't see this long ago when this first all came about. But shout out to Monica McNutt, man. Shout out to Monica McNutt. Like I said, she is doing the Lord's work. Stephen A. Smith has been a pest in the sports analyst world, if you let me tell it. Yes, there was a time when Stephen A. Smith was the go-to voice, if you will. You know, back in my high school days, Stephen A. and Skip was running the sports world. I hung on there every word, you know, whatever they said was law. And, you know, over the years, me coming into my adulthood and definitely me, you know, picking up my sports journalist career myself, I've just noticed that this dude is nothing more than a gimmick, a character, a clown. Stephen A. Smith is. He's a clown. He's a backstabber. He'll do whatever he got to do, whether that's crossing you or stabbing you in the back to try to get himself elevated. And I just never really cared for those kind of people. I mean, I guess I get it, but I've always been the kind of person to get my success another kind of way, you know. So a guy like Stephen A. Smith, I could never rock with. And once I really learned who he was and what he was, you know what I mean? I've just been on my mission of calling it out ever since. And I truly, from the bottom of my sports journalist heart, appreciate Monica McNutt for calling this fool out for all it, especially pertaining to this Caitlin Clark situation. You know what I mean? I believe they're friends behind the scenes, but she's really been making great observations as to Stephen A. Smith's flawed journalism, as she called him out. You know, back in that viral clip, she told him that he could have been talking about the WNBA long before Caitlin Clark got there. And I've always said that's facts. You know what I mean? Even when I first started my journalism career, before Caitlin Clark was still a junior in college. I believe, yeah, I started in 2022. She was just a junior in college when I started mine, and I was talking about women's basketball, college and WNBA at that time. I didn't hear much from Stephen A. about that stuff. Even Caitlin Clark. I didn't really hear nothing about him talking about Caitlin Clark until recently. But shout out to Monica McNutt again for even identifying, because this is pure jealousy. And there's no, I mean, if Stephen A was calling it out in the WNBA, it's only because you can identify it. You know what jealousy look like because you're living it, brother. Man, I appreciate Monica McNutt, man. And I'm not going to hold you. I wasn't very much aware of Monica McNutt until, now, until that clip. But I've been paying attention. She's been calling some WNBA games, doing her thing, making her rounds. I believe she just got married. I'm a fan now. I'm a fan of Miss Monica McNutt for sure, because calling this out is just necessary. Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, is a buffoon, like I say, a clown, and he displays it constantly. And I understand there's still some brothers out there that respect Stephen A. Smith. This is no indictment on y'all. But just give it time, man. Y'all, a lot of my friends and my peers that still rock with Stephen A. Smith, they say some of the stuff that I used to say about Stephen A. Smith. Give it some time. Y'all gonna see what I see, man. Because Stephen A. Smith is a trip, and he cannot be stopped. And as far as embarrassing himself and making himself look foolish. He can't stop. He's an unstoppable train in that regard. But again, Monica McNutt made a good observation. Stephen A. Smith allegedly is definitely displaying some jealousy when it comes to his contract negotiations, because he only wants all of this money because Pat McAfee came over there and started making the bag. Shannon A. Smith, Shannon Sharp came over there and started making the bag, and Shannon just got an extension with ESPN. I'm not positively sure for how much or what's the numbers on it. I gotta double check them out, but I know for sure he just got an extension with ESPN. Troy Aikman got paid. Joe Buck got paid, amongst many others. But yeah, man, and hopefully Stephen A. Smith gets the message, the writings on the wall. Because I heard he was trying to get on Monday Night Football. Like, man, get out of here, man. Don't nobody want you on there. He's trying to Stephen A. Smith is trying to get on Monday Night Football, and Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, and everybody else is like, nah, we good. We're good. We don't need Stephen A. Smith over here. Stick to the NBA. You don't even do that right. To be honest, I remember watching Stephen A. Smith in real time. Real time. He was blaming a loss that the New York Knicks suffered, which is his team allegedly. He's supposed to be the Knicks fan, and he was blaming the loss that the New York Knicks suffered on a player that had been traded, I believe, a season or two ago. It was crazy. This was the 2023 season. He was upset about the Knicks losing the game, and he was blaming the loss on a player that had not played with the Knicks for at least a season at that time. And it's just like, just a inconsistent clown, in my opinion. But shout out to Monica McNutt, man. I appreciate her for making that observation. I agree 1,000%. On your way out, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Always intrigued to hear what y'all got to say about these topics. I definitely appreciate the love and support. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.